Oh, I'm sorry.
Greetings.
My crystal keeps hitting the table. And I was like, I'm going to have a bunch of crystal fodder this episode.
Show him your crystal.
Oh, yeah. If you're watching at home, look at how big this crystal is.
Thick-ass fake
It's a real crystal.
It's gorgeous. I love this necklace. Thank you to Madeline from Last Podcast Network for loaning us
their crystal.
Just the one.
I'm just going to keep it really safe, except I'm just knocking it again. I'm probably going to have to take off the crystal.
I mean, I have this Eonthi dangling in my eyes. This is really annoying. I didn't feel like putting the moons on my forehead. Moons over my hammy.
Moons over my hammy. The best breakfast. I don't know.
Moons over Eonthi.
I don't know if moons over my hammy actually is the best breakfast at Denny's, but it is the one that I would always order just because I like to say the name.
Of course. It's the quintessential stupid restaurant food title.
Moons over my hammy.
But we're not here to talk about Denny's. They don't have Denny's in Prithian, as far as I know.
Oh, but if they did, would they be 24 hours? And that would be really nice for them.
It would be because they have a lot of stuff going on in the night. So, yeah,
there's no takeout here. That really, honestly, of all the things of why I don't know if I would fit in Prithian, many of those things is because there's no takeout.
I do think that if you're in the high Fae courts, though, they just have servants who will get you anything you want.
Yeah, but then I'd feel guilty all the time. Like, I'd be really bad with servants.
I don't know. Getting a snack in the middle of the night, you might just be approached by a shirtless high Fae.
Just wake up and I go, snack, until someone hears me.
Yeah. No, but then someone will come and bite your shoulder.
Yeah, I'm feeling it, man. I can't wait for it to get more throbby. I know that we're so close.
This is edging. This is Sarah J. Maas edging.
I've never been edged this far because I don't think I'm patient enough to be edged.
Well, now you're going to be.
Oh, no. And I hope everyone at home is throbbing as well. Throb alongside me, won't you? Consensually.
Consensually throbbing.
Yes. Only if you want to.
Yes, throb if you so choose. But we're not talking about that scene anymore because we are out of A Court of Thorns and Roses. We have now begun the journey into A Court of Mist and Fury. This is a good one, guys.
This book, the second book is what got me like, okay, like sped me into the rest of these books that I just like read with such fire that I thought that the pages were going to set aflame.
Got you on lockdown.
Yeah. Is that what the youth say?
Yes.
Oh, no. We don't know what the youth say.
I feel as though I heard somebody say it on the internet before.
Yeah, smack at the lock, right?
Smack in the lock, yeah. That's what the Zoomers say. So
we're all reading the same smut under the same night sky, though. Isn't that
nice?
I'm somewhere out there-ing us right now, but we're not in 50 Goes West.
Out there.
Oh my God, she's turned into a mouse.
I'm glad there's no sexy mice in this. I'm not into that.
Oh, you're not? Like, I'm so into that. I was like, no, I'm a monster fucker, so I'm not into a sexy mouse unless the mouse was some sort of mutant mouse. But, like, I'm saying, all right, throw it out there. Gus, I'm bringing up Gus again.
Oh, not Gus again.
He turns into, like, a big, thick boy. You wouldn't kiss?
He's dumb, though.
Yeah, but that's nice for a while.
I feel like he might be like learning to say voice.
We've all banged a Gus before in our time, where you're just like, just shut your mouth. Just be big and thick.
I mean, I'd look at somebody doing an animation version of him as a human. I'd look at it.
Yeah, just to see.
Sorry, I'm pulling up one thing real quick. Just don't mind me. I'm looking at the end of this. Okay, so we're going to creak open this book again because it's rusty for some reason. And
yeah, it's because of all the wet it got before.
Yeah, and then it dried.
Now it's all, curly and wavy, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So immediately upon opening this book, we find that the map in the front is more detailed. We have some more spots checked off that we didn't
Thanks,
have
Sarah.
Yeah. So I think that we're getting a foreshadowing of perhaps maybe some more traveling going on in this book.
Like basketball?
Like basketball?
Yeah, look at me, sports girl.
I don't even know what you're talking
They go
about.
traveling when you're running with the ball. You see, oh my God, did I know more sport than you?
Yeah.
Sport?
Definitely.
Wow.
Doesn't take much.
Sorry,
but I'm proud of you.
Derail you.
No, please derail all you like. We're seeing all of this again through Feyre's eyes, so we're only getting locations based on what she is going to see in each of the respective books. We discussed, Jackie, that I like to study the beginning of them. Like at the beginning, I like to look at the maps, and you don't. You like to gather the information, then go back. So I'm not going to dwell too long on these new names and places. But I will say there are spots on both Prythian and the large continent to the east that have locations now charted, and that wasn't in the first book.
Ooh, going traveling, but not with balls or with balls.
I think maybe balls. Different kinds of balls. Testicles.
Thank you, Natalie.
You're welcome. So we come to a prologue where we find Feyre is having a nightmare. We're inside of her brain. She's back under the mountain reliving the killings that she just went and did in order to save Tamlin and his people. So she's living through this over and over again, and we're kind of learning from this that she's not thriving, right?
No, she's not sliving at all.
So now moving forward, most of her books were going to come in parts. So they're actually segmented, part 1, part 2, part 3. And the 5th one, I believe, has 4 parts. So the first part of this book is called The House of Beasts. Again, Feyre is not thriving here. Our first reintroduction to her is coming up to her vomiting after waking up from this nightmare she was having in the prologue. She is just replaying the events over and over again of the last couple months in her head as she attempts to adjust to this new life and body because, as you recall, she has an entirely new brain, body, head, ears. They're all different now.
She's Fae now. Also, I feel like the main thing that would get so difficult from going from human to Fae is since you hear so much better, how do you sleep? How do you besides the fact that if I didn't just kill a bunch of young, innocent Fae,
right.
I probably also wouldn't be sleeping just because I'd be like, turn it down, you crickets. I don't know, whatever sounds happen in the spring court.
Sure. I agree. Seeing things too vibrantly, the noises would be too much. Yeah, for sure. I feel like that would, as much as I'd love to be Fae, I think it would be a scary transition.
Except no delivery. There's not a grub Fae out there.
There's not a grub Fae?
Yeah, like Grubhub.
Oh.
Or I guess, I don't think there are grub Faes either because they're all really hot.
Yeah, I thought you meant like an insect, like the wormy thing.
Oh, yeah. No, they
Grub
got
Fae.
worms. No, they got big worms.
They got big old worms. They do.
Fae bays, get down.
They get down.
Sorry, I was thinking about the dune worms.
No, we're not doing dune worms.
Sorry.
Coming into this Fae power seems like it would be awesome. Yeah, the learning curve would be really steep.
Yes.
She reflects on how much property damage she's caused because of this new power. She keeps slamming into doors too hard, shattering glasses, things like that. Too strong. She stares at her new hands and sighs at the tattoos still covering her left arm, her bond and bargain still intact with reason. Even though he has yet to make good on his 1 week a month promise. 3 months have gone by and there's been no Feyre napping so far.
Where is he?
Maybe he's not going to make her do it, So, though her new body is strong, her resolve has crumbled. She has a dark hole in her chest and nightmares in the darkness.
I've been there before, girl. Yes.
I know, right? We can relate.
And I do think that it is fun that I not fun to play around with her mental health, but I do think that it's not something that it's such a human part of her that that they're not dealing with as much, or so she thinks, I feel like, in the world of the Fae.
Yeah.
Of just being truly depressed and essentially having everyone around her just being like, nah, she's fine.
And everybody else,
I think everything's fine.
And everybody else is sort of fine, as we'll find out. When she gets sick in the night, Tamlin never wakes up, or at least pretends not to. And, maybe that's because he's trying to give her space. But she knows that he gets the same kind of terrors at night, and that he goes through these same things in the darkness in his sleep. And sometimes he's taken to sleeping at the foot of the bed in beast form, like he's having like a little PTSD situation. He's not thriving either, but maybe a little more than her. For now, neither seem able to confront it to one another.
That's
They're both like avoiding it.
I feel like that he just doesn't know what to do. And I actually think it's really cute that he sleeps as a beast at the edge of her bed. I mean, I would wake up and be like, I want that beast to fuck me. But it's also really sweet that, like, as a protector man, that he feels like that's the only thing he can do because he doesn't know how to communicate with her properly.
I get it. I agree. I don't think it's like a horrible thing to do. I do think it's a little. You can tell that he's going through something too that he didn't like ever comfort her when she's throwing up. That's a whole different thing. Feyre describes feeling uncertain whether or not she's really out from under the mountain, and I can relate to that in a more boring human way.
Oh yeah, how boring.
Like just in a not fantasy fae excitement under
just
a mountain.
Because we're human doesn't mean we're boring.
I think it does.
No, we also experience life. We experience loss. No, it fucking sucks. I want to be Faye.
I do. I'm sorry.
Oh no, am I becoming one of those Target signs like done adulting, ready to Faye?
I think that ship has sailed.
Oh.
We need to start putting the signs up in the house.
No, I can't. I can't live, laugh, love. I won't do it.
It'll be a different one. Don't worry. It'll be completely different. We're chuggy. So this makes me wonder if this is something Maas has herself experienced, because that is sort of an anxiety kind of response when you get out of a really dark situation, and sometimes your brain tells you you're still there in it. That's happened to me for fucking sure. Like,
oh yeah,
those moments of panic.
Yeah,
it's absolute panic. And like, I wonder if that's something she went through, because she sort of describes it in a way that makes me feel like she might have. And also, Maas has been very open about her mental health struggles and stuff.
And Sarah, if you want to be friends with us, we will be friends with you, and we can talk about this anytime. Love talking about mental health struggles. I'm always here for you. I'm just holding on to my crystal, like I'm gripping the crystal, hoping she'll be friends with me. Maybe I'm using my power.
It's a wish crystal.
It's a wish crystal. I'm going to keep wishing. I got some Robins to wish for, so you what? Sorry, this book is where it gets throbbed, man.
It's true.
Ooh.
It is true. So yeah, that is quite a scary feeling in my experience to have that. Like, is this all a dream? Am I still like trapped in this horrible spot that I was in? So chapter 2 begins. We see Tamlin and Feyre arguing over whether or not she's going to come with Tamlin and Lucien to the local village. Tamlin offers her a firm no, she will not. But Feyre does not want to stay behind. She wants to be a part of this world that she's now going to be ruling over. She wants to help repair everything in the aftermath.
See, this is the thing. I feel like this is the part where Tamlin thinks he's daddy. Like he's being daddy, but what he's really being is father. And father isn't sexy. Mm-mm. Daddy is sexy, but to some. But father is never sexy.
No, definitely not. And yes, I agree. And I think that's the the flip side to that protective streak is then infantilizing.
Yes.
So it can go really too far very quickly. And he's kind of getting in that place where it's out of love, but he's trying to protect her to the point where he's not even hearing her anymore. So
get out of here, father.
Yeah, she doesn't need a father. Clearly, she had a father who wasn't caring for her already, so she was fine. She doesn't have those kind of daddy issues. You know what I'm saying?
But I think human Feyre did have those daddy issues.
Sure, but also
Feyre.
Feyre.
Oh my God, how have we not done that yet? Well, she's new to being Fae.
Yeah.
But Natalie and I talk about this a lot.
Yeah, we do.
But I feel like she doesn't need that.
No, definitely not. And Feyre touches on that in these opening chapters, that she's not the same girl that walked into that under the mountain. to save Tamlin, even though she was already a badass at that time. It's not like she was some like little meek baby. So Tamlin does not feel like it's safe for her. He says she's given enough and that she needs to just, live, laugh, love in her house.
Oh, no.
Which to me, I'd just be like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I go to village, please? And quit. Why do I even have to ask you, Tamlin? Why do I have to get your permission?
I do love how much Feyre hates saying please. That's one thing that I did notice in this reread of every time she's just like, and then I said the dreaded word, please. I'm like, it's okay to say please. It's not a bad word.
It's not.
I understand
in
the
that context,
intonation.
It's
Yes.
like, do I need to ask my husband permission for things?
Yuck.
Not husband yet. They actually not married. They got engaged. Oh my God. Can you believe it? A month after returning from under the mountain, Tamlin proposed, and it had been a joyous moment for Feyre. It was the thing she had been fighting for, and she's been tasked with preparing all the festivities for the wedding, a job that she's actually not particularly interested in.
As someone that also just planned a wedding, that it has not ever been, I don't like to plan things, I felt her so hard while reading this part. And because she's like, I don't want to just wear a fun, fancy dress and just plan the parties. I don't want to just plan the parties. And how, I remember reading it while I was planning my wedding. And it's like, get Feyre, fucking understand.
As somebody who likes to plan parties, planning a wedding is not the same kind of fun because there are vipers on every side of you being like, you need to spend more money. You need a charger. What's a charger? A plate that doesn't get
under
used?
a plate.
But we're supposed to okay, I guess I need to spend another $7,000.
God, I'm so happy it's done.
Yeah.
Best day of my life, but also so happy it's done. Anyway, sorry.
Yes, I don't want to have.
I'm with you, Feyre.
So yeah, we feel you. Imagine going through all of that, fighting a giant ass worm, torture, dying, being turned, going through all of these things, and then someone's just like, "Okay, you did it. Now it's party planning."
It seems like another punishment.
I know. Get the fuck out of here. She just murdered a giant worm for you. And now you're like, you like dresses, don't you? Here's a pretty dress for you to wear.
No, she's a trouser. She loves trousers.
There's a whole society that needs rebuilt, and you're just sequestering her into picking out lace napkins. That's bullshit. Spring Court also just celebrated winter solstice, which signifies something else. Feyre's birthday, the same day as the solstice. She's like girl Jesus.
And she also suffers from many other people who have birthdays around a big holiday, and then everyone forgets her. So she's so used to her birthday. And I was just like, oh my God, that is such a holiday birthday. As someone that deals with Holden every year because he's always gets sad. I'm sorry, deals with is not the right phrase, but he always gets sad because his birthday is right after Christmas and no one's ever around and everyone always forgets.
Yeah, it's hard for Henry that his birthday's on Walpurgisnacht because it's always, left to the side.
Oh yeah, I'm always maypoling around and I'm like, Henry who?
It's your brother.
Oh
Natalie
my God.
Zebrowski.
Your husband?
Yeah. Did you know that's what Natalie actually means? It means born on Christmas.
Whoa.
I'm basically Feyre.
Oh my God.
My birthday's in April.
Except you don't want to be Feyre right now.
No, definitely not.
Although you would kind of love the wearing the frilly dresses
yeah.
and planning this kind of party.
I will say if the Phasian, her dresses in the Spring Court are not my vibe.
Nah, brah. Spring Court just ain't my vibe at all. In fact, I even purchased a dress that was a la the Spring Court that was very pink and rosy, and I put it on last night and I burst into tears because they looked horrible in it. I'm not meant for that kind of fashion.
I don't
I'm
think
meant
you
for
looked
dark,
horrible.
witchy.
I imagine you didn't look horrible, but I also get what you're saying. Those sort of colors make me look kind of sickly, I think, a lot of the time.
Washed. I'm just so pale.
Which is beautiful. Your skin's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a Snow White in a beast world.
You are a Snow White with your dark hair.
Give me all your birds.
Oh, God.
Is that what she does?
I don't remember if she talks to birds or not.
Oh, I think she does.
Anyway, she doesn't tell anybody, just like Holden. Feyre's just like Holden.
Let's continue that comparison, please. Just imagine Holden in the big frilly dress being like, I don't want to make a party.
Oh, I wish I could go to the village. She's marrying this. It's kind of weird. She's marrying this veritable stranger, and they don't even know each other's birthdays because Tamlin doesn't know that she just skipped her birthday, and I guess they've never asked each other.
He's really bad at communicating. This is the part of the series that you really can see. Tamlin is just, man, I feel like as we go through to, I think he doesn't know, he's never had to communicate his feelings before. And he deals with everything through his anger. And I feel like that is, it's not that it's not his fault, but I feel like he needs help. He needs someone that will draw it out of him.
Can you fix him?
Oh my God, I love to fix. Should I fix him?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to marry Tamlin.
Okay.
Sorry, Feyre.
I'm sure it's going to work out for them.
Yeah.
But if they don't, you
step
go.
in.
Yeah, you go. So now the wedding is 2 weeks away, and she's struggling to get Tamlin to give her some freedom. More so trusting that Feyre can make her own decisions about it. She won't let her say, this is what I want. He keeps saying, no, you can't. I'm, and she's trying to understand because he couldn't protect her, I guess, for whatever reasons.
Yeah, now he feels bad.
And he doesn't want to go through that again. So she's trying to understand on that level, like it comes from a place of caring. She doesn't push hard because of that. But he, again, is being quite infantilizing to her in these scenes. Basically telling her to run off and paint.
But she does love to paint.
But
she's too sad to paint.
She's too sad. She can't get there yet. Although I imagine with Faye senses, the paintings could probably get better, right?
We can hope so. I love the idea of just like, it's a beast. It's like, oh, is that what you drew?
Oh,
here?
You're so pretty, Feyre. That's what little girls...
You're infantilizing her.
Yeah, because he does. He's like, go look at dresses. Yeah. That's what little girls like. No mention that I just watched you murder a giant worm using only your wits, I guess. So she fairly points out that she has the strength of a Fae now, so she'll be much safer than before, which is accurate. But Tamlin's concerned that now she'll have a target on her back because all of Amarantha's allies will want her dead. And also, when the High Fae gave her those drops to bring back to life, that they might be a little bit regretful of doing that because she might have sucked some of their magic up.
Well, because also, like, part of that is giving her a portion of their power.
Yeah. Well,
to give her life.
And, theoretically, but we don't know because Tamlin won't let her train at all. So she, from Feyre's viewpoint inside of her head, she's sort of trying to ignore if that's happening or not, except that she's so strong, she keeps breaking all their shit. Lucien is more on the side of Feyre. He's trying to kind of help her, but he refuses to interject himself into the conversation, which is really disappointing to Feyre because she is kind of seeing him as her friend now. And he also thinks she should be training, but he doesn't want to go against Tamlin as the High Lord. So she backs down and she watches them leave. And she's very unhappy about it. It's here we meet Ianthe.
Yeah, that's you.
She is a high priestess.
For those of you that are listening, Natalie did dress as Ianthe today.
I'm not her in character because we learn a lot about her later on. Anyway, she is a high priestess, a ranking that we'd probably equate to, I guess, a sexy witch priest.
Like, that's the thing, because in theory, sexy witch priest sounds bad fucking ass.
It does. We're going to learn a lot more about priestesses going forward. She is an old friend of Tamlin's who's come to help Feyre transition into this new world and be of service to the new couple. Feyre doesn't really mind. She's been obligated to these endless affairs of Fae coming to thank her, celebrate, make treaties, basically pick up where they left off 50 years prior before Amarantha. And Feyre's not really up to it just yet. She's kind of processing a few things. Ianthe attends these things with her and often takes the lead, giving Feyre some time to process and prepare. She's sort of like her lady in waiting or something.
And yet also it's like her lady in waiting, but also like a mixture of like giving her advice and stuff like that. So she's like a little bit of like an older sister mommy type, like a Meg from Little Women.
Yeah.
And like a little bit of that and a dash of lady in waiting because like she's still below Feyre.
Yeah, exactly. So she's taking over a lot of the planning duties as well for the wedding.
Thank God.
Yeah, as well as dressing and preparing Feyre for all these events, such as like she's kind of also sort of like a Miss Manners coach, whatever they're called. And also a party planner. So Feyre's wearing these sort of grand gowns that don't really suit her or feel right, but she's also sort of just allowing it to happen because she doesn't want to choose the things. It seems like right now, Feyre isn't really concerned with any of these image things. She'd just rather have Ianthe pick all of it for her. She's glad to.
Ianthe.
Did I say something?
Ianthe.
Ianthe.
Yes.
Ianthe. This name is, I say it wrong all the time, so we're going to try to keep not saying it wrong. And so she's glad to give Ianthe the reins.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. You're killing it.
Okay.
All the high priestesses wore the billowing, artfully twisted and layered robes, though they certainly were far from matronly. Ianthe's slim waist was on display with a fine belt of sky blue, limpid stones, each perfectly oval and held in shining silver. And atop her hood sat a matching circlet, a delicate band of silver with a large stone at its center. A panel of cloth had been folded up beneath the circlet, a built-in swath meant to be pulled over the brow and eyes when she needed to pray, beseech the cauldron and mother, or just think.
I do like, it's like a parrot. Just like
put it over her eyes. She also falls right to sleep too.
Feyre describes Ianthe. It's sensual. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so worried I'm going to say this wrong.
No, just in my brain, it's like the I, and then it's like an ant, so it's more Ianthe.
You know what I think the problem is my little brother's name is Ian, and so all I see is Ian at the beginning of it.
Gotcha.
Ianthe. Ianthe. Feyre describes Ianthe as sensual and sexy. We'll learn more about the high priestesses, like I said, but as we go on later on, we're going to learn a lot more about it later on in the books. So it's clear in Prythian these spiritual women are not like nuns. They are instead sexual beings,
yeah!
Which is pretty cool. They talk about how like part of their worship is like sex because it's, you know, they have a womb and there's like celebrating
it's
Mother
like
Nature.
Creating power and all. I mean, I dig it.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, they are encouraged to dally and bear offspring in that sense. So Ianthe. I'm sorry, guys. So Ianthe has been sort of a companion and teacher to Feyre. As they are going over wedding plans, she asks Feyre what sort of roses she would like at the ceremony. White, pink, yellow, red, not red.
I hated that color more than anything. Amarantha's hair, all that blood, the welts on Claire Better's broken body spiked to the walls of Under the Mountain.
So, you know, this is not necessarily somebody who's in a right headspace at the moment.
Man, she's really struggling and literally screaming through the night every night, and nobody's asking her about it.
No. And if you're about to have a wedding and you're seeing blood everywhere, maybe you need to take a breather. It's okay. We all have anxiety. It's called intrusive thoughts, friends.
Oh, yeah, man.
So
it's all good, but we got to talk about it, and we got to be able to lean on each other and create
true.
A sense of community.
But if your husband keeps turning into a beast and sitting at the foot of your bed, who are you supposed to talk to?
on, then it's a problem.
Then you want to just have sex, right? Ianthe doesn't have the same scars from Under the Mountain, we learn, because her family fled and escaped as Amarantha was taking over. So she's content in helping to plan the wedding and strategize about the choices that Feyre's making. Feyre will be the wife of a high lord, of course, so all of her decisions will be scrutinized, just like Michelle Obama.
Oh my God, always talking about her arms and not talking about all of the amazing things that she does.
Right.
But also her arms.
Her arms are nice. You know? Can't take that away from her either. So this is sort of there's a little bit, I think, of resentment there because oh my God, you guys, why can't I say her name? Can I just do it? Can we just put it in? Like, I'll mouth it and I just say it right the one time and it goes in.
I just don't want you to like beat yourself up over not like saying it wrong after.
I agree. There's a little bit of resentment there because she didn't have to go through all of these things. So I can see a little bit of resentment happening.
Yeah.
Even down to the wedding dress, she's helping Feyre choose, which Feyre doesn't like. She doesn't like her wedding dress. In her mind, she's calling it a monstrosity of tulle. Tulle. That's tulle.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Why? So many confusing words. In her mind, she's calling it a monstrosity of tulle. So that sucks.
Yeah, man. And especially like she's got all these dresses already that she doesn't even like, but also through her depression she can't even like talk about how she's really feeling anyway. So she's just letting all of these things wash over her. And I think a lot of us have struggled with things like that in our life where you just like you hate it, but you don't even have the energy to say anything about it.
Yeah, and that's sort of where she is in her headspace. She's too weak to argue much about it. She's just like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So Ianthe reveals that she has the hots for Lucien during these conversations. And though Feyre doesn't...
Which I get.
Of course. And Feyre doesn't want to tell her and hurt her feelings, but she gets the sense that Lucien, again, is resentful that she just got away from everything during Amarantha's reign. And, you know, they all had to suffer there. She was just, I guess, vacationing on the continent or something.
I'd probably be fairly resentful, too.
Yeah. Ianthe looks at Feyre's bond tattoo with Rhysand in distaste and suggests that they get gloves for the ceremony. Which, fair. I don't know that like Tamlin like wants to be staring at that tattoo at the wedding, but whatever.
That part I kind of get.
Yeah. That night, as Tamlin enters the bedroom, we learn through Feyre's musings in her head that she and Tamlin are still keeping separate quarters. Mm-hmm. Though he sleeps in her bed most every night.
Although I have met many a couple that do sleep separately and like swear by it in their marriages and in their relationships. And if that works for you, good for you. But I do think in this situation that he's avoiding the fact that like his fiance is screaming all night long and like he's probably like, I gotta get my sleep too, and also trying to give her some space, so like I can see that. So I don't know if they're sleeping separately for the right reason.
Yeah, I don't think it's because like he snores, you know what I mean?
Although wouldn't a beast snore?
Probably.
I tell ya.
Yeah,
I'd get used to it. I'd get used to it. I need a beast.
Oh baby, I can get used to this. Yeah, I think it's more so an avoidance thing, what I would gauge from this. So it's a choice. Regardless, as he comes in that evening and strips his shirt off, she pulls back the sheets to reveal that she's already nude. And then we get treated to a lovely sex scene.
Oh, yes.
This is the first elongated sex scene between them, as the other two have been in sort of dire straits. So this is an almost 4-page long sex scene.
Thank you.
Woo! Thank you, Sarah.
Well, especially, like, I mean, I think it's the one way that they do, like, they have that lust between them. And it's the one thing that has always worked. And I also, like, have you never been in a relationship like that before? Where, like, you don't get along in any other way, shape, or form? Oh, no, Natalie, never? She's never had it. Never had a lust relationship before.
I was a virgin when I met Henry.
I forgot about that he did force you to wipe yourself clean.
Ew!
I don't think he did. I get it. I've been there. I've been with someone that, I mean, I hate to say keep your mouth shut, but like I've done we don't need to date. Why don't I just come over to your place?
Yes, for sure.
We don't need to go out to dinner.
But then, you know, you don't get married to that, so...
Yeah, you try not to, yeah.
You try not to. So they're not necessarily connecting in an emotional way, but it could just be because they're not there yet. But they do connect physically.
Yeah.
So very much fun 4-page sex scene. And as their lovemaking concludes, Tamlin apologizes for his refusal earlier. He divulges that he feels protective of her because he couldn't save her before, and he can't bear the thought of losing her again.
I get that.
She understands, but I have to say, this sounds an awful lot like his needs are being met and not hers.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
You are saying truths right now.
Mm-hmm. Wait. No, they're not done. They have sex again.
They have sex again. Like that kind of man. Like 4 pages of intense and then immediately jumping right back in. Hell yeah, man.
And as they're concluding again and they're speaking sweet nothings to each other, Feyre says that she will feel strange to have people call her High Lady. Tamlin explains that there is no such thing as a High Lady. What do you mean there's no such thing as a High Lady?
The heat, his touch, all of it stopped. He looked up from between my legs, and I almost climaxed at the sight of it. But what he said, what he'd implied, he kissed the inside of my thigh.
High Lords only take wives. Consorts. There has never been a High Lady. Excuse me, sir?
Excuse me? I mean, love that he's telling her this while he is literally eating her out, which can, put some salve on anything.
Yeah. Soothe the news.
But that's a little fucked up, Tamlin.
Also, probably a conversation they should have had before they were about to get married.
Yeah.
But who am I to say? I'm just some dumb human.
We'll never be Faye.
Oh. The next day, Feyre is left with Lucien, and it seems that Tamlin has relented enough to let her go see the village with about 100 guards around her.
Thanks, Father.
Yeah. Lucien and Feyre pick up their sibling energy where they left off from the first book. She challenges him as to why he doesn't speak up when Tamlin is being overbearing to her. We need order, Feyre. We need rules and ranking and order if we're going to stand a chance of rebuilding. So what he says goes. I am the first one the others look to. I set the example. Don't ask me to risk my stability of this court by pushing back. Not right now. He's giving you as much free rein as he can.
So he's trying to be the go-between here.
Yeah. She asks if this is to be her eternity now. Her much, much longer future. Wearing dresses and planning parties. And I mean, for 1,000-year lifespan, that's a lot. That would make me a little bummed out.
Yeah. Although some people would love that, but that's just not Feyre.
1,000 years of it?
I mean, it does. You never have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about
You're right.
where your next meal is going to come from.
You're right.
You have all of the things, and it's like, okay, I'm dressed. I don't even have to put the dresses on myself. So some people. I try to. I just go to Jeff. I wake him up in the morning and I put my arms up and I go, "Just me!" And then he goes, "Look at my little doll wife." And then he puts the clothes on his little doll wife.
Oh, he does it. I assumed that when you did it, he'd go, "Stop doing that,
Jackie,
please."
I've got to go to work. I can't put clothes on you right now.
Yeah, so to Feyre's dismay here, Lucien reiterates what Ianthe already... Ianthe. Wow. So to her dismay, Lucien reiterates that Ianthe has what she has already explained, that as the wife of a High Lord, she's expected to fill certain roles. That in the wake of all this terror, it's important to give a certain image to the people of Prythian to feel the stability again. Which sounds like a bunch of bullshit, if I've ever heard it, that they're just trying to make her stop complaining.
I think that Lucien also knows it's a bunch of bullshit. He's just trying to, essentially, again, be the go-between of, keeping everybody chill, because that's kind of, his job.
Yeah.
He's like the consigliere.
Yeah, he sort of is the consigliere. And this is sort of a first lady position that she's going into. And I know I could never do this. So maybe, like you said, some people would really enjoy this role. I wouldn't like to be the person who just hello, yes, hello. Oh, no. Very nice to meet you. As the people come into the court.
I got too much spew mouth.
Yeah,
that's my main problem. I'm just be and then I'm all of a sudden telling secrets that I shouldn't be just because I'm oh, you want to hear the tea? And then I'd get in trouble all the time.
I can't look reserved like Meghan Markle. I understand why Meghan Markle had to get out of that because like you're not allowed to like wear certain things and have your knees showing.
Yeah,
and
I
you
also
have to
can't
sit.
like side smirk. I feel like Meghan Markle does a lot of like side and I can't like, do I look good?
I don't know if that's a requirement to be.
I thought that was like a thing.
Maybe it is. In this conversation I guess, argument really that they're having together, Lucian reveals to her that the Spring Court participates in a tithing twice a year, which is some church BS, I think. They have a tradition of receiving gifts from the people, even though they don't need any of it within the estate.
It's just always been done.
Yeah, which I'm never a big fan of that.
Yeah.
That explanation for anything. But
and neither is Feyre, I tell you what.
No, and she's expected to be there and to put on this facade because the people need her to be there.
Yeah.
She pushes back, but then Lucian is trying to tell her this in earnesty, I think, but he's also kind of guilting her. Lucian's love was murdered. We've learned that the person that he fell in love with earlier on, I think this was in like the middle of the Court of Thorns and Roses section, he had a love and his father killed her because she was a lesser fae. So he's basically kind of guilting her, being like, Tamlin got his love to come back. So give him a break, I guess. Which I don't know if that's really fair of him to do that.
No, but he just needs her to do what Tamlin needs her to do.
Yeah.
So this is his job. And so I think he's just doing his job. But also, Lucian, let me fix you. Are you broken? I can put you back together.
Are you going to do sister husbands?
Oh, yeah, I could.
Husband,
I
wife?
could,
What is it
yeah. Brother husbands?
Brother husbands.
Yes. I mean, it would be really difficult because a lot of, sister wives is about spreading seed and making as many of your like family of heaven soldiers and whatever. So it would be difficult with only one baby maker. That's why I'm into commune living. And then we'll all switch it up.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. That's nice of you to try to fix them all.
I'll
think
fix.
that's giving. And so basically, even though I do think it's an unfair thing to say, how is she really supposed to argue back when he brings up his dead lover?
Yeah.
So they end up, she and Lucian are with all the guards, and they end up arriving to the little village there. And the people within the village are thankful and like reverent around her, but they refuse to accept her help. She's done too much already. Basically, they're all parroting what Tamlin's already said.
Because she did save all of them.
She did, but she wants to have her hands. She likes dirty hands.
Oh!
I know. But they say
then
no,
I'm
no,
so
no.
not Feyre. I really am not. I don't identify with Feyre, but I enjoy her character outside of the painting.
And who she dallies with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Outside of the painting. But yeah, basically they're all just parroting what Tamlin's already said. So they quickly kind of turn back because the villagers are like, we're good. Thank you. So she goes back and she begins to further retreat into herself.
Because everyone is working because they have to rebuild everything that Amarantha destroyed. She just like went through and destroyed all of the cities.
Yeah. And in the way that Feyre feels, the way that she wants to help is to be of use. She wants to go rebuild things with people. She doesn't want a party plan, but apparently she doesn't get a choice in the matter. She feels completely isolated.
The vastness of my now unending existence yawned open before me. I let it swallow me whole.
Not a great way to go into your wedding.
Nah. It's like already stressful enough.
I know.
Like Jeff and I didn't even really argue through our wedding planning process, and I don't understand how we did that. We were like on a team the entire time battling everyone else. I felt like we were back to back and we both had swords and we're just like, get away from us, but also help us, but get away from us. So like she's not even feeling that connection with Tamlin.
Yeah.
It's hard enough just after, I mean, I didn't even like just kill some innocent people before the wedding. Wank! How do you think I stay this youthful?
It's not easy, okay? Nobody ever feels sorry for me after I kill them because, I killed people, but it's hard. I have to be on camera.
Yeah.
Okay? In the days leading up to the wedding, despite Tamlin's troubled nights, there was sparks of him returning to who he was likely before the fall. So Feyre is like drowning, but she's watching Tamlin sort of thrive in these parties. She feels disjointed, and at the all the preamble stuff before the wedding, all these like people are coming into the court to celebrate them and like be a witness to it. And Tamlin is in super high spirits. I mean, he's got the girl and his kingdom's back and all these people. He's like sort of in his zone.
But he like barely knows any of these people. I feel like that's also really important to note is that how like Tamlin is so down to have like the whole place filled with a bunch of people. Everybody's kind of like drinking and talking and hanging all day. He wants it like filled with people, but he doesn't like connect with any of them.
No.
He's not like friends or buddies with any of these
They're
people.
not talking about their feelings.
No, it's just people. And like that would drive me bananas. Just having people around all the time, getting hammered all day, and then I got to be in a frilly dress planning a party?
Ugh, no. And really, this is kind of cruel in a way because, he's talking to all these people who maybe he doesn't know them very emotionally close, but he might have known them for centuries.
Yeah.
And Feyre doesn't know any of these people. And so she's sort of shriveling further and further into herself, and he doesn't seem to be noticing. But thankfully, Ianthe is there to facilitate all of these interactions because that's sort of one of her jobs. Feyre ponders on when the last time was that she laughed.
That hurts my soul, girl.
Yeah. The morning of her wedding arrives. Feyre reiterates how much she hates the dress in her thoughts.
It was a monstrosity of tulle and chiffon and gossamer, so unlike the loose gowns I usually wore. The bodice fitted, the neckline curved to plump my breasts, and the skirts. The skirts were a sparkling tent, practically floating in the balmy spring air.
It makes me think of those big floof gowns that were really popular in the 80s.
Yes.
Like all the 80s like bridal photos are just like all shoulders. You can barely see the woman's head.
And especially knowing that she has full like sleeves and gloves on to hide the tattoos.
Yeah. Which she then goes on to describe like the puffy sleeves that were like ridiculous to her. She has, she's covered in jewels and pearls and all this stuff. She's adorned like a doll?
Yeah.
She's cringing at herself, which sucks, like, to go out to her wedding and she hates how she looks.
She hates how she looks. It sucks.
But, Ianthe did procure these elbow-length gloves that hid her tattoo and will be herself residing over the wedding. So Ianthe's really made a lot of the choices, like the visual choices for it, and now she's also going to be the one. What is it called? Not Reverend.
The one presiding over the wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that's.
The presiders.
The presiders.
Yes. The host. I want to call it the host of the wedding.
Yeah. That's, I'm sure, what it's called.
Yeah.
So she has a lot to do with this whole ceremony. There's a big to-do, because this is the High Lord's wedding for Cauldron's sake.
For Cauldron's sake.
Feyre begins her descent towards the altar. She doesn't want to do this, but as she sees Tamlin at the end, her breath's taken away by his beauty. He's let his glamour down for her. But then she looks down at the ground where she's to walk to him.
My vision narrowed on him, on my High Lord. His wide eyes glistening as I stepped onto the soft grass, white rose petals scattered down it, and red ones. Like drops of blood amongst the white, red petals had been sprayed across the path ahead. I forced my gaze up to Tamlin, his shoulders back, head high, so unaware of the true extent of how broken and dark I was inside. How unfit I was to be clothed in white when my hands were so filthy. I get it. It's just like me.
So I noted that. I wanted to put that in there because she very clearly expressed
she's going through it. She's in a rough spot.
She didn't want red.
No. She said specifically, of all of the things, she made no choices about anything, but the one thing she said was not red. And Ianthe, bitch.
Yeah.
Because Ianthe just planned the wedding she fucking wanted.
I think maybe.
Interesting.
Whether or not she was doing it intentionally, she was not paying attention to anything Feyre said. Obviously, this is the one thing she asked to not be in the wedding. So she's starting to like have a panic attack while she's like walking down the aisle. She attempts to keep walking, but Feyre is like effectively falling apart in front of an entire audience as they're staring at her. She starts to get dizzy. She thinks she's going to vomit everywhere in front of these people, these Fae, whose kind she just murdered in cold blood, that she thinks is in cold blood, even if nobody else does. Her kind. It's her kind now. She's Fae, and that's starting to freak her out. This is all too much, too fast. She's too broken to put Tamlin through this.
I was going to fall apart right there, right then, and they'd see precisely how ruined I was. Help me, help me, help me. I begged someone, anyone. Begged Lucian, standing in the front row, his metal eye fixed on me. Begged Ianthe, face serene and patient and lovely within that hood. Save me. Please save me. Get me out. End this.
Tamlin, now nervous, watching her kind of just stand there in the middle.
Panic attack, but he doesn't fucking know what's going on.
No, so he's reaching his hand out. Come on, come forward. Again, a little infantilizing. Feyre steps back, and that's not a good thing. You don't want to see that, somebody walking down the aisle, them take a step backwards.
Yeah, take a pause and then a step back. Oh, it's not fair and well.
Yes, and it is noted by the crowd. People start to murmur. Then
thunder cracked behind me, as if two boulders had been hurled against each other. People screamed, falling back, a few vanishing outright as darkness erupted. I whirled, and through the night drifting away like smoke on a wind, I found Rhysand straightening the lapels of his black jacket.
Hello, Feyre, darling.
He purred.
That's right, Rhysand has arrived! I screamed.
Rhysand is here!
We don't like him.
We don't like him. We don't like him. We hate him. We hate him. But at this point in time, even reading through it for the first time was like, I mean, he did save her.
She said, save me, save me, save me in her head. So,
hello, Feyre, darling.
Mm-hmm. So, why are we like 12-year-old girls?
I feel like a 12-year-old.
Oh, my God. So, that's right. Rhysand has arrived to claim his week after these months have passed. Unsurprisingly, there is an uproar in the crowd as Rhysand saunters in and mocks the celebration. Regardless of how Feyre feels about this interruption, Rhysand does what he does, which is shift her mental attention. In her distraction, her worry becomes, where's he going to take me? And she's no longer thinking about this wedding debacle. Tamlin, of course, is furious, but he doesn't make a move on Rhysand. Ianthe disappears into the hills. She's just gone.
Again, something bad happens and she just fucking flees.
I guess she's got to take care of Ianthe.
Aren't you supposed to be the one that people come to for solace? You're supposed to be the one that is there to protect people as well?
What? Are you trying to say that somebody who calls himself a priest might be an asshole? There's no way. There's no way. Feyre's obviously not pleased, but there seems to be nothing to be done about this. This is a bond that's magical. So there's vast consequences in breaking this deal. So really, Tamlin doesn't stop it or anything, and she kind of just has to go with him. In this series of slick movements, he slips an arm around Feyre's waist and whispers, "Hold on."
Then the darkness vanished. I smelled jasmine first, then saw stars. A sea of stars flickering beyond glowing pillars of moonstone that framed the sweeping view of endless snow-capped mountains.
"Welcome to the Night Court,"
was all Rhys said.
It's the most beautiful place that Feyre's ever seen. After she arrives from whatever strange transportation Rhysand uses to go far, far very quickly, they land in the Night Court, which, if you'll recall...
If you look at the map, now we look at the map.
My map didn't show up yet. I ordered one. and we don't have it.
Give us our map, Etsy.
I'm very upset. I'm going to write a strong letter to them.
No, you're just going to go, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to go, I'm sorry for troubling you with mailing it. But if you'll recall on the map, it's all the way at the very tippy top of Prythian. Spring Court is the farthest south, touching the wall that segments the Fae from the humans. So this is a very far distance, but he's just sort of zapped them there. We already know that the Night Court is largely covered with sprawling mountain ranges from the map, and this is where we find ourselves now. High in the sky, she sees nothing but gray mountains through the open air space she's landed.
Awesome.
I know. It's warm, even though there aren't any windows to speak of, and there's snow-capped mountains outside, but it's all open air, but somehow he's controlling the temperature in there. She describes a winding series of rooms filled with different forms of sitting and meeting spaces, which is already speaking my language.
Everything about this place makes me just like, I want to go. I want to go there.
So badly. Also, I could do this as a workspace. I love places to move around. I can't sit at a desk. You offer me like 20 different forms of me sitting weird to write? Huh. Give it to me.
Give it to me now.
So there's lush plants, there's thick rugs, and colored glass lanterns. So far, this is nothing like Under the Mountain, though we've heard already that Amarantha allegedly based her dark court from the Night Court. No, her description depicts beauty, lavish, certainly, but a welcoming space, not deep under a cave and inside of a mountain and dark and scary. Sexy, though.
Yes.
Best of all, the moonstone floors. Ugh, man, take me there. That sounds so beautiful. Reason challenges her, suggesting that she asked to be taken away because she's angry with him, but he says, it seems like you wanted to go. I don't know.
Seems like you were pleading to be saved.
Feyre is incensed. How dare you? I said no such thing. In a rage, he grabs her arms, ripping the gloves off and growls, I heard you say no. Which is great. He did hear her say no, but then the remedy was to abduct her. So I don't know if this is like fully a consensual. It's a little gray area.
I mean, she did make the arrangement to go with him for 1 week a month.
You're right.
So I'm not saying that the way in which he took her, but also like she did say she was going to do this.
She did.
He did save her life.
He did. In this scene, Reason comes off as kind of cruel and hateful. He mocks her dress, calling her a damsel, but sarcastically. This is the Reese we saw Under the Mountain, combative. And yet, she also detests her dress. She doesn't say that to him, but we know that she felt stupid in it. She felt she didn't like it. She didn't like how she looked, and he's also picking up on that. She insists she wants to be taken back immediately. But does she really? She just left a gigantic mess created in part by her. Tamlin was humiliated in front of his people, his entire court, and she obviously didn't want to go through with the ceremony. Regardless, it's Reason's week with Feyre custody, so he makes it clear he will not be taking her back whether she wants to or not.
You're right. This is like it's like Mrs. Doubtfire, you know, a little bit.
A little custody
just
battle.
Like the custody. Daniel! You know.
I hope one of them dresses as an old woman.
Oh, you can go, Doodle!
Oh my God, what if Tamlin gets hired as a maid at the Night Court?
No! My name is Lady Feather Higgins!
Oh my God.
Oh, but we don't know. Maybe that happens in the future.
In a rage, Feyre takes her shoe off and hurls it at Reason's back. This really is reminiscent to me of the Nutcracker, and I don't know that Miss Maas did that intentionally, but for any of you Trinas out there, there's a scene at the end of the first act of the Nutcracker where the protagonist's little girl throws her shoe at the evil Rat King. In that case, though, this gives the heroic Nutcracker time to plunge the sword into the Rat King as he's distracted. And so that's sort of this Nutcracker scene, but it's interesting because—
Is this your trauma? Is this how you're undoing your ballerina trauma?
Oh, no.
The Nutcracker,
I've been indoctrinated into the Nutcracker so hard that I can only feel love for it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. No, I love the Nutcracker. So But the reason I bring it up is because I know that she incorporates ballet into Crescent City, so I wonder if she does have that in her past. But in this gesture, this is her saving herself, which is quite a juxtaposition from the Nutcracker, which is like allowing the prince to have time to save her. And in this, she's just like, fuck you. And she throws it at his back. So she does this. And we get a couple, good pieces of information in the sequence, because when she throws the shoe at him, he takes it in his hand and he can turn it into vapor. He touches it and it's just poof, gone.
He makes the night with his hands.
He does. And two, that he didn't immediately do that to Feyre's head. So we know, at least in this moment, if he's offended by somebody, he's not just going to strike her. Because we don't really know much about him at this point.
No, we just know that he's very, like you said, combative and very mysterious. And also, she does say, I love how, like, the descriptions of Reason of how he's just the most beautiful man she's ever seen.
Yes. And so we get that, also this information that Feyre is not just going to, like, cower to him and be timid. She's angry. She becomes somebody who was falling apart to being furious with him.
But she doesn't show that kind of emotion to Tamlin, does she?
No. She withholds herself because she doesn't want to cause a problem, basically. Here, she doesn't do that with him. And he doesn't do anything in retribution to her, like, after she throws this shoe, which wouldn't have hurt him anyway, but he didn't do anything even like shake her shoulders like that scene in Airplane. So he didn't do any of it. He basically just sort of walks away from the situation. But we also see Feyre's not fearful. Feyre's not fearful. We also see here that Feyre is not fearful. She's furious. She hasn't buckled under his power, which I love to see it.
Love to see it.
He exits the room and we're introduced to a new voice, someone who we don't actually meet in this scene. All we know, it's a feminine voice which declares, "So that went well," in a very casual conversational tone. And I remember the first time I read that, I was sort of like a little taken aback because it was so casual compared to every other interaction that Feyre's had so far.
Especially with a High Lord.
Yeah. It's definitely not something we would have found under the mountain, even though that's where she thought she was basically being sent back to.
Yeah.
So right now, Night Court's not being a lot like Under the Mountain. Even in her rage and despair, Feyre has to admit her room, her quarters she's to remain in during Reason's custody is, quote, a dream. From the billowing amethyst curtains to the open-air views to the cushy bed. I mean, kidnap me, Reason.
Please.
I can get Stockholm Syndrome for that tub alone.
Oh, my God. Let me just read all day and just, like, get to chill.
She describes the large tub as more of a pool that hangs off the side of the mountain with the far end flowing off the edge in a waterfall. You know what? Forget the show. I need somebody to just make a resort themed after Prythian.
Please.
Wait, I need to do it? Okay,
Yeah.
fine. I'll make it.
All right. We'll become best friends with Sarah, and then all of us will make it together.
Sisters.
Sarah, come on. Be sisters with us.
She's being treated in this moment as what seems to be a guest, not a prisoner. Still, the realization of everything that went on today hits her, and she is racked with worry and dread over the fact that most likely people noticed her hesitation before Reason showed up and that there will be something to deal with upon her return. She practically rips the dumb dress off herself, wanting to rid herself of the day. Here she finds night clothes that are what she imagines are night court fashions. And they are pants.
She loves a trouser.
Sort of more a sensual version of legged clothing, not like the ones she wore out of necessity at the beginning of the series. She puts them on and is overtaken by sadness and sobs herself to a fitful sleep in that gorgeous bed. The next morning, we're greeted with some familiar faces.
But also not woken up in the middle of the night by nightmares at this point. She actually sleeps.
She doesn't mention she had nightmares, that's for certain. So the next morning, we're greeted by some familiar faces, which are the two shadow handmaidens from Under the Mountain, who painted her every night. Only now they're fully formed fae creatures, whereas they were wispy, shadowy people before. And we finally learn their names here, Nuala and Saradwin, which are very pretty names.
Yeah.
They tell her to get ready to meet Reason for breakfast, and seeing as she doesn't really have anything else to do, she can't do anything else, she decides she's just going to bathe and get dressed. And again, she's putting on clothes that were left for her that are of the night court variety. High-waisted, billowy peach pants cuffed in gold velvet.
Cool.
The shirt matches with long sheer sleeves.
Yes.
And it's a little shot, like a cropped top, so revealing a little bit of her torso skin. Very sexy. I read this as Maas taking inspiration from harem pants, which is something that was inspired by Turkish traditional clothing. But it actually became popularized as women's fashion in the more Western world in France in the 1900s. It's sort of also, it makes me think of, obviously, Disney's Aladdin. They sort of did a bastardized version.
Like a Jasmine-esque.
Yeah, and in that costume itself, that kind of came from different places in India. There's women's garb from the Punjab region of India whose clothes look like that. And also they kind of steal from belly dancing, which is of Egyptian origin. But it sounds like a lot like Maas is drawing from some of those places where it's feminine and sensual, but also very practical.
Comfortable, easy to move in, to run. Feminine, exotic. Thin enough that, unless Reason planned to torment me by casting me into the winter wasteland around us, I could assume I wasn't leaving the borders of whatever warming magic kept the place so balmy.
She seems like she's admitting to herself that she likes the clothes, but she doesn't go out and directly kind of say it right there.
Well, I also feel like it's definitely sexier than she's ever worn in her life. So I feel like there is the apprehension about it, but also she ain't mad. Like, oh no, my torso is out. And oh no, these clothes are so billowy and silky.
She definitely is not... She was very open about how much she hated the dresses she was wearing in Spring Court. She's not doing that here.
Nah, dude.
She's not protesting too much. So she goes up and she's greeted by this real continental breakfast. It's not one of those Days Inn's breakfasts either. It's like Four Seasons level.
Whoa,
breakfast.
Like make your own waffle kind of level?
I think so.
Dang.
An omelet station. As Reason greets her.
An omelet station.
Me too. I'm hungry.
I know.
Reason greets her. He frowns at her appearance. Rude. But we're not really sure what he's seeing when he's looking at her. To try to ease into this tense relationship, she offers sort of a half question of, it's not dark. I thought it was dark here. It's not dark. To which he explains, though the solar courts celebrate their respective times of day, not even high lords can go against the sun's demands. Though they fuck with the seasons, so I don't really see why. But
yeah.
Even Reason says that holding the seasons is some sort of strange ancient magic they don't fully understand. As they banter back and forth, we get why he was frowning at her. Not because he didn't like her outfit, but he's kind of questioning why she's so rail thin. When she snaps back at him, why doesn't he just look in her head if that's what he wants to know? And he says that he's not doing that all the time, but sometimes she's practically screaming down the bond, and that a Fae with his ability could rummage around in there unless she wants to learn how to shield her brain. So basically, he's saying to her, I can hear you in your head sometimes when you're upset.
Or violently puking every night or screaming through the nights. Like, he can feel her doing these things. So he knows that she's really upset and that no one has been helping her.
And so he uses this as a way to say, you should learn how to shield your brain, which she kind of just ignores. And she just says, what do you want me? I'm here. What do you want me to do? And he says, I want you to learn how to read. The beginning of chapter 6 is Reason again mocking Feyre about becoming Tamlin's wife. And again, to be fair, she doesn't seem super jazzed about the idea of her being a glorified party planner either, which is what Tamlin seems to want for her. But she's not going to let Reason know that, even though he can kind of look in her head. Instead, Reason wants her to learn reading and shielding skills.
To protect herself.
And, he's at least picking up on the fact that she doesn't want to just sit around in a court. He's knowing that she wants to learn stuff. So she begins to lose her temper, and it only serves to make Reason more cool as a cucumber. And as a result, Feyre unknowingly bends a fork in her hand that she's gripping. It's just like she's so mad.
She's so strong.
He asks her then, kind of carefully, has anyone ever told you you're rather strong for a high fae? They have not. She realizes even though she doesn't grace him with a direct answer, she's like in her head going, Tamlin didn't actually mention that to me. Interesting. Reason ponders on whether or not some of the traits of the High Fae who resurrected her will surface in her. As they continue bickering, we finally meet the woman behind the voice from the previous night.
If Reasoned was the most beautiful male I'd ever seen, she was his female equivalent. Her bright golden hair was tied back in a casual braid, and the turquoise of her clothes, fashioned like my own, offset her sun-kissed skin, making her practically glow in the morning light.
We meet the Morrigan! Reason introduces her as his cousin, though they don't share many physical traits and similarities. Feyre tries to politely greet her, but Morrigan says, Brothers don't shake hands! Brothers got a hug!
And then she did the fat guy in a little coat bit, but that was weird because she's
Feyre
like a
didn't know the
beautiful, like,
reference.
she doesn't get the reference. She's never seen Tommy Boy before, and maybe she'd get that bitch in front of a television. Is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
show her some movies. So yes, Morrigan comes and grabs her up in a big hug. And we quickly learn that Morrigan, or Moore, as she's called most of the time, is a character who's going to be opening up a new source of a kind of interaction that Feyre has not really experienced with the High Fae.
Oh, you mean warmth?
Yeah, just like nice.
Someone being nice and like just like seeing her as like
A person.
Yes.
Yeah. So far, even the most amicable interactions with the Fae have been kind of strained and reserved, even with Lucien. Moore is about as far as you can get from that kind of formality. Within her first conversation with Feyre, she's already saying she would have enjoyed seeing Feyre nail Rhys's balls to the wall.
Yes.
By the way, as Feyre has mostly taken to referring to Reason as Rhys at this point, we're going to do the same.
Yes.
So now he is Rhys to everyone.
Let's get to know him more.
Yeah, and we're just becoming more friendly. It's fine. It's nothing special. We just, we're seeing him a lot, so I guess he's just going to be Rhys
Oh my
now.
God, okay. We'll say it's Reese, okay.
Feyre's never really seen Rhys affected like this before. Angry she's seen, but sort of standing there handling being mocked, it amuses her. She actually almost smiles.
Whoa.
But she stops herself so they don't know.
Thank God.
Thank God. After a brief introduction to this character and the cousins having a very, familial tete-a-tete, Moore sticks her tongue out at Rhys, and Rhys rolls his eyes in response. Feyre is seeing this powerful, terrifying High Fae in a new light. Vulnerable, disarmed. It only serves to confuse her more. Before Rhys leads her out of the room, she notes the way that Moore deftly handles the knife in her hand that she uses to slice a muffin, and imagines that she may be used to handling weapons, which we will learn more about later.
Certainly will.
But I wanted to say that Morrigan's name has an origin from our Earth's mythology that will give you a good idea about her character's MO. I didn't actually know this until I had begun researching for this series, but if I had ever learned this in some past point in my life, those brain cells were wiped away by a bottle of bourbon probably 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But the Morrigan is a figure from Irish mythology, and it comes from the name Morrigan.
I bet that's how it's said.
Morrigan, which translates to roughly Great Queen or Phantom Queen. She's most often connected to war, especially with foretelling doom, death, or victory in battle. Greek and Roman mythology have a goddess figure of war as well, named Athena or Minerva. But in this Irish mythological creature, she's more of a boots-on-the-ground kind of battle shapeshifter who fights.
Sick.
I know. Sometimes she's represented as three women, and it is also linked to associations of the banshee creature later on in Irish history.
You talking about me? Oh! Yeah, our banshee sounds. Everyone get your banshee sounds out.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, all of you listening with earbuds. So she's sometimes three women. She's also referenced in connection to the Hebrew version of Lilith. This is all to say, yes, that she represents a disruptor, an unruly woman, a force to be reckoned with.
Hell yes.
Which, baby, I can get behind.
Yes.
As we continue to read, it's clear that Maas took great inspiration from this mythology with Morrigan's character. We next find Feyre and Rhys sitting together in one of those aforementioned learning nooks.
I want to go so badly.
I know. Feyre does want to learn to read. We know this, but the idea of being taunted and left alone and overseen by Rhys seems unbearable to her.
He lifted a brow.
Is it that hard for you to even try in front of me? You're a high lord. Don't you have better things to do? Of course, but none as enjoyable as seeing you squirm. You're a real bastard, you know that?
Rhys huffed a laugh.
I've been called worse. In fact, I think you've called me worse.
He tapped the paper in front of him.
Read that. What a cad!
Oh, he's so bad. But in this instance, he's definitely being more of a daddy than a father.
Yeah, I think that some people might think that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Interesting.
some people.
But her defiant nature gets the better of her. Because he challenges her, she's going to show him exactly what he wants her to do. I'll show you by doing exactly what you want. She begins to sound out the words on the paper that he's placed in front of her. She gets you, look, absolutely, then she gets kind of stuck on it. She can't sound the word out, so he helps her. Delicious. She finishes the sentence. You look absolutely delicious today, Feyre? Oh, what?
Oh my God, she so hates it. She's so not into that.
She doesn't like it.
No,
she doesn't.
She's all you're bad. You're so
my God.
bad. Oh.
She's taken aback. So he says into her head, it's true, isn't it? Then he proceeds to do what I'll call a double whammy. He both hits on her and he's proving a point.
You can double whammy on me anytime, Rhys. Just throwing that out there.
So we know now Jackie's a fan.
What? No, I'm very good at hiding my feelings. Everyone says mysterious Jackie Zebrowski. What does she think all the time?
Yeah, if there's anything but the LPN people, it's their mystique. So he continues to speak into her head. He's complimenting her, but also holding her mind hostage in this moment to show her that this is what could happen to her if someone with his powers wants to attack her. She's frozen in place, much like she was the first time he did this to her way back at the spring court. He tells her, as paralyzed as she is, this is only the precipice of her mind, that if he wanted to, he could crush her brain into porridge. He commands her to push him out.
I couldn't. Those claws were everywhere, digging into every thought, every piece of self. He pushed a little harder. Shove me out.
I like Maas's visualization here of Feyre trying to pry 1,000 claws from her mind and not being able to do it. Then she does what every office retreat tries to do but can never accomplish. She starts to think outside the box.
Oh, I thought it was trust falls. And then all of a sudden she gets up and throws her body at him and it's will you catch me? Are you going to catch me?
Which doesn't help anything. No. Instead of pulling them out one by one, she creates a wave inside of her mind to wash all of the claws away. Though it's not perfect, he sort of lets her win. He relents, as though all he wanted was for her to start trying. She's exhausted, but he makes her do it again. This time she visualizes a wall of adamant snapping down, slicing the claws in half.
Cool.
Yeah. Against her better judgment, she's actually learned some things this day. But she can't let him see this acknowledgement that she's actually been helped. She again tries to reason her way out of this bargain. As her rage ramps up, Rhys says to her, he's not her enemy, and bitterly recalls Under the Mountain. She is not having it. She doesn't want to talk about Under the Mountain. No, because it's so much easier to pretend it never happened and let them coddle you. I don't let them coddle. They had you wrapped up like a present yesterday, like you were his reward. I mean, no lies, detected.
He ain't wrong.
He demands she continue to practice, but allows her to work in quiet as he puffs away in smoke.
Turns into night.
He turns into night.
So fucking hot.
So she does as she's instructed and practices for the rest of the afternoon. When Rhys returns, she's exhausted, but he's not done for the day. He leads her up one of the spires of the impressive mountaintop estate. And at the top of the spiral staircase, we enter a bit of a war room. Not the Steve Bannon one. It's mostly bare, but for a large table bearing a massive map of Prythian, and a map that's also tacked against the wall. If our map had arrived, I would be referencing it right now. They study the map on the table together, and Feyre sees that there have been detailed notes made of every place in Prythian but the Night Court. The Night Court has been left blank entirely, not even a mountain range is marked. Curious. The map also contains the outline of the wall separating humans from Fae. Tell me what you see. A world divided in two. And so from that, he questions whether or not it should remain that way.
I whipped my head toward him.
My family.
I halted on the word. I should have known better than to admit to having a family, that I cared for them.
Your human family,
Rhys finished,
would be deeply impacted if the wall came down, wouldn't they? So close to its border. If they're lucky, they'll flee across the ocean before it happens. Will it happen?
Reason didn't break my stare.
Maybe. Why? Because war is coming, Feyre. He became Irish.
Oh, wow.
Winter is coming. High-burn is coming, Feyre.
Oh, look at you with your acento.
At the start of chapter 7, Feyre has mistaken Rhys's statement as a threat, that he is in fact going to be attacking the human world. It's hard to blame her. She's just getting batted around by all these hot, confusing fae. We don't know who's good and who's bad. She's like, maybe Reason wants to kill my family.
She's just trying to suss it out.
Yeah. And then Rhys almost sounds like, I don't know, what is that, hurt? He says, I'm not going to invade the mortal lands. He goes on to inform her that it was, in fact, not over with Amarantha. And you will recall at the end of the first book, Feyre knows this. She overhears whenever she's with Nuala and Serigwyn that the Adder is conferring with one of the courtiers of Highburn about how they need to watch it because Highburn's getting pissed. Mm-hmm. Confused, she starts to argue that can't be. Tamlin hasn't said anything to her. And then she realizes, oh, he probably wouldn't have told her because he doesn't tell her anything.
No, she don't know nothing about what he does all day. He just gets on a horse or just does whatever he does and gets out of there. She doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
No, and that if there's one thing that makes me crazy, it's people deciding that information that I want, I can't handle, so I'm not going to hear about it.
It's father duties is what it is. And I'm not talking about daddy's poops.
Oh, duties.
Father's duties. Yep, 12 on the inside.
Yep. All right. So Rhys says that the king of Highburn allowed Amarantha to hold this little obstacle course of horror kingdom, basically as an experiment to see how long a kingdom might be able to hold power over Prythian. So basically he was using Amarantha as like a lab rat taking notes. Rhys goes on to say that Prythian itself is important to the king because what he really wants is to reign the big-ass continent to the east. Point to a fake map, to the east of Prythian. And that the entirety of Prythian is just a stepping stone to him to get to that much bigger chunk of land. He's being a real selfish Sally. That's what I say about the King of Highburn. So thus, Feyre learns of Rhys's intentions for locking her into this bargain. He needs an ally. He needs to ally all of Prythian, in fact, in order to stand a chance against Highburn.
Down with Highburn!
Which is almost an impossible task due to all these age-old feuds within the High Lords themselves. Tamlin, for example, hates Rhys.
Yes, so how are they supposed to come together to work against the king?
Well, this is why he has, in fact, created this bargain with Feyre. We also learn at this point that Rhys fought in the Great War on the side of humans, and that he knows the ways of the Lord and the high priestesses, and that he don't trust them. Rhys is confiding in Feyre here. He's entrusting her with valuable information, and he is questioning why Tamlin is not divulging his information to his high ladies.
are no high ladies.
Tamlin said there are no high ladies. Rhys looks angry at the suggestion.
Yeah, he does.
And he says, yes, of course there could be high ladies. And doesn't that just hit home in the US of A?
Interesting.
A lady president?
What? But she's going to get her blood all over the Oval Office.
I mean, that'd
they
be awesome.
smear their bloods.
I think that makes her more powerful.
Yeah, honestly, it is just usurping her power. You got to claim it.
Yeah.
How else are we supposed to claim it?
Bleeding all over everything. Rhys makes it clear in these scenes that she possibly holds great power under her skin and that she should learn to wield it. Well, this is obviously more empowering than the thing that Tamlin's done, which is kind of dismiss her. It's clear that Rhys wants to use her as well as a weapon. So we don't really know how much of this is coming from a caring place of him.
Although he is saying to her, hey, I want to use you as a weapon. Will you work with me? So it's not even so much like he's not
tricking
manipulating her. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not tricking her. He's straight up just being like, hey, you want to work with me? Because do you really want your family to die? The family that doesn't care about you, yes. But do you really want your family to die? So why don't we make sure this war doesn't happen?
Feyre pushes back to this, saying that Tamlin won't allow her to train, and he responds, you are no one's subject. Ooh, gives me chills.
Rhys!
It's so empowering, but it also somehow makes me want to say, yes, sir. Yes, I am no one's subject, sir. Thank you. So, yes.
I went rigid at the flash of teeth, the smoke-like wings that flared out.
I will say this once and only once.
Reasoned purred, stalking to the map on the wall.
You can be a pawn, be someone's reward, and spend the rest of your immortal life bowing and scraping and pretending that you're less than him, than Ianthe, than any of us. If you want to pick that road, then fine. A shame, but it's your choice.
The shadow of wings rippled again.
He goes on to challenge her, suggesting that she does not want this life Tamlin is offering her. She gets mad and enraged at his arrogance. But he asks her to think it over and reminds her it is her choice and no one else's. Not even Daddy High Lord's.
Nope.
She continues her week alone and Rhys leaves her be. She also continues her lessons in writing and shielding.
Reasoned is the most handsome High Lord. Reasoned is the most delightful High Lord. Reasoned is the most cunning High Lord.
Ugh, arrogance. But he is giving her these things to write and she's learning new words and also kind of flirting with her. As the weeks come to, he's a flirty fae.
Whoa.
He's a little flirty fae. As the week comes to a close, there is word sent to Rhys's court that there's been a massacre of priestesses in another land, as though a message is being sent. We watch Rhys and Moore debate what to do. In this scene, Feyre learns also that vanishing into thin air like Reason does is called winnowing. And it's sort of like the same concept as a wormhole where
you fold the piece of paper. Yes.
Science.
Yeah.
When it comes time for Feyre to go back, she and Rhys are not friendly, but not full enemies, I guess.
They're almost like frenemies.
They're almost
you would
frenemies.
say?
They're almost
oh my
frenemies.
God.
So she tries to reason with him to get out of this bargain again, but he brushes it off. He asks if she's ready to face the consequences of the day that she was taken by him. And
Can you
she's
imagine
not.
how much you wouldn't want to go back? Like, talk about Sunday scaries. I'd just be like, I can't.
Oh, it is a Sunday scary.
I
Oh my
know.
gosh.
You have to go back. You got to go deal with Father Tamlin and what in the wake of the disaster that you left behind.
Yeah. But all she doesn't want Rhys to know this. So she's just like, take me back. And Rhys returns her to Tamlin's manor, and Feyre rushes inside. Just get away from me, Rhys. I don't like you. Tamlin, who is meeting with Lucien at the time, rushes to her, clearly only relieved to see her. He's not reacting in anger or shame from the wedding, so that's good. He's excited to see you. Are you all right? Are you hurt? He just wants to know she's okay. She lets him know she's fine and that she was not harmed. But he also scowls at the night court fashion she is still wearing.
Yeah, because she looks hot as shit.
Yeah, probably. He has sort of a tepid response to as they're having this conversation. Like, he says, I'm going to find some way to break this, I promise. But he doesn't really mean it. They start to get on each other. Mm-hmm. They're lost in the throes of passion. They miss each other. They're just about to get married. They're all entwined with each other. And then Tamlin stops her.
Tamlin stepped back, shaking his head as if to clear the desire addling his senses. We hadn't been apart for so long since Amarantha, and he wanted to press me for information about the Night Court.
Tamlin. Again, we see Tamlin not register Feyre's needs here. And I could sympathize with him wanting information from her, except that he doesn't tell her anything.
Yeah, so you're going to juice the orange? You get the orange back, and you're not going to suckle on the orange. You're not going to bite down on the orange. You're going to just rip off. You're just going to, like, squeeze the orange with the peel still on it. At least take the peel off.
Nope. He's chomping right down, squishing it, making it into some gross orange juice. I hate orange juice. Ugh.
It hurts my chest.
Yeah, very acidic. So he's not giving her any other information. And all of a sudden that he needs to use her at his convenience. I don't care for this.
No, I do not.
Maybe we don't know some element of why he's doing this yet. Maybe we don't know. But I don't like it. He starts pressing her for information. And it's clear that while Rhys wanted this allyship, Tamlin sees Rhys and the Night Court as his enemies. He pushes her further. She says, "This feels an awful lot like an interrogation." She describes everything that happened. Even though she doesn't feel comfortable, he keeps pressing. And she tells him everything that went on, everything inside of the tower in this mountain. She reveals that Rhys suggested that she train. She wants to know if Tamlin suspected that she might hold these powers.
I wasn't stupid enough to mention the mental shield training. Not right now.
Training would draw too much attention,
Tamlin said.
You don't need to train. I can guard you from whatever comes our way.
Let me take care of myself.
Yuck. I can guard you. You didn't do any... Okay, I know we're not...
Just, like, stood by. Okay, I know that you want to make up for what happened under the mountain, where you just watched this shit happen and you didn't put yourself on the line for it, and now you want to make up for it, but it's fucking too much too late.
Yep. Exactly.
It makes me mad.
She resists, and he shuts her down. He also dismisses her when she says that Rhys wants a partnership within the courts. And here you begin to see a part of Tamlin that's not super likable. He wants her to stay small, perhaps who he thought she was when she first arrived to the Spring Court those months back. But even then, she wasn't small. She was providing for her entire family. This might be a problem. And hopefully Tamlin can find a way to embrace this bigger-than-life version of Feyre, the Fae version. And that's where we're going to stop for the day because we've been going and yapping and yipping.
Oh my God. And so much happens. Now, like, it's so great the way she writes because so much plot is jammed into these books. And not in a way of like, I don't even know what's going on. It's just like such a page turner. You get so sucked into it.
Action-packed.
It's just such a great fun read. I hope you guys are enjoying reading along with us because this is just it's a Fae dream come true.
It really is. Except that, we can't be the Fae, and that would probably be better. But this is the second best thing.
Yes.
You guys have been sending messages that have been so fun, and I'm so glad some of you are reading in time with us because I wasn't sure how many would be doing that. But now so many of you have been reaching out and saying you are. Which is why we're trying really hard not to do spoilers.
It's hard.
I don't know. I think our emotions might betray us at times.
At times. Sure.
Not in any other point in our lives does that happen.
No. I'm again mysterious. Jackie Zebrowski.
Mystique.
Ooh.
Ianthe.
There you go. She did it.
I did it. Join us next week, won't you?